Good evening. Hey, this is Coach Anthony Williams, founder and CEO of Connected Athletics. We are a new startup company based here in Austin, Texas. We are focused on helping student athletes successfully transition from high school to college and then into a career once their football eligibility is over. But more right now, we're focused on using this platform to help student athletes connect with other student athletes during the recruiting process and help them connect with college coaches during this pandemic recruiting cycle that we're in right now, especially with the NCAA dead period being extended to January the 1st. So we are here to get to know more about Keaton. He is a receiver, a class 23 receiver from Westlake High School, 6A state champions last year. I know a lot of players on the team. He's another good one that's coming up. He'll be a name that will be a force to be reckoned with in the class 23. He's 6'3", 180 pounds. Strong GPA, 3.75. Keaton, how you doing this evening?
I'm doing good, Coach. Thank you for having me.
No, hey, thanks for coming on. I know we just talked about your unfortunate injury in the scrimmage against Cedar Park, busted up your collarbone, going to have surgery. But the good news is we'll be back for the second half of the season. Why don't you tell the coach a little bit about that and how, if they don't see you in the first half, they know what's going on with you, and tell them when you'll be back on the field.
Just a heartbreaking injury on the scrimmage. Unfortunate, but surgery tomorrow. I'll be in the rehab stage, just trying to be the best teammate I can be from the sideline, being in every practice, helping my other teammates with film. And then I'll suit up on the end of the regular season for about 3 games and then into playoffs.
Perfect. So there's good news out of that, which is awesome. Hey, let's just jump right into the interview now. Obviously, you know, college coaches, the first thing they want to hear about is your academics. You've got a very strong 3.75 GPA. Tell us in your own words about the importance that you put on your academics.
Oh, it's very important for my family. All my brothers had a high GPA. My parents just really strict on me. They don't let me get behind on anything. Just make sure every day, just having a planner, writing down all the homework assignments, and just staying on top of it.
So it sounds like with your older brothers, there's academic competition a little bit with the GPAs, huh?
Yes, sir.
That's awesome. Hey, tell us a little bit about what classes do you prefer, do you like or enjoy at Westlake?
So I take an architecture and design class for one of my electives, and that's what I'm kind of hoping on to do after school. I'm really into designing and just building houses and stuff like that.
So we have a lot in common. I majored in engineering. I started as an architect, and then I went to mechanical, and then I finished with electrical. So yeah, engineering is a great discipline. I know you'll be very successful at that, designing custom houses here one day in the Austin area. Tell us also, what kind of student are you? Tell these coaches what kind of student are you in class? What kind of work ethic you have to keep that high GPA?
So one thing always try to do is sit at the front of the class whenever I get the chance, so I can always pay attention, put my phone away, just fully focused on the class period, and just that definitely leads to a higher grades and better performance.
Okay. And then you mentioned it earlier, but I'll just ask for the coaches to know, do you plan on majoring in architectural engineering when you get to college?
That's what I'm thinking. I'm kind of still, I'm so young right now in the high school
Yeah.
phase, still trying to I know exactly what I want to do for sure.
Okay, good stuff. Got some options and you got some time there. What's important also with coaches is knowing what kind of learning style you have, both in the classroom and on the field. Tell these coaches, are you more of a verbal, visual, or hands-on learning style?
Definitely hands-on. I'd like to kind of have what I'm doing in front of me. I can still do verbal, but kind of like having it in front of me and letting me see my own examples and stuff like that makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, good stuff there. So the same thing, is it the same no matter what environment you're in, same thing on the football field? Are you more kind of hands-on visual or no?
Yes, sir. I can do. I study a lot of film, so that too, visual on that. But even when they're talking about it right in front of me, just lets me see it better too.
Okay. Hey, tell us, I'm sure there's a lot, I know there's a lot of great teachers at Westlake. I know a few of them, but are there any teachers or tutors or APs or coaches that you want to shout out right now that have helped you keep your GPA so high?
So I actually just transferred to Westlake. I went to Katie Taylor last year, and so there's a coach there named Coach Lee, and he's just definitely kept me on top of anything. He still keeps in touch with me to this day. He's definitely been one of my biggest role models in helping me with school and other into football.
Okay, good stuff. I didn't know you transferred from Taylor. Okay. That is great to know. Tell us about, you mentioned your work ethic. One thing I always ask student athletes is your work ethic the same in football as it is in the classroom, or do they differ?
Oh, of course. So on football, it's definitely well from my time for during school, it's all school. Definitely focusing on school education first. But once we get into football, I'm straight football. Just focusing on that, work hard, even after putting in extra hours with our quarterback Cade.
Yeah. How do you handle time management? Obviously, you can't be everywhere. You can't have good grades and be working hard and still hang out. How do you manage that balance of time with family and friends and homework and football?
So one thing that made it a lot easier this year is we were online, so I have a chance to kind of see what we have for the next couple of weeks. So I try to start some homework maybe for the couple of days because I got Bible study stuff like that after school, and I got to make that practice. So.
Okay, good stuff. Hey, let's switch over to getting to know about you a little bit more personally. When you're not working out and you're not doing homework, what do you like to do in your spare time? You have any hobbies or interests?
Yes, sir. So one thing I love to do is, like I said, we go to Bible study a lot. Mainly just hang out with them. So, like I said, I'm a transfer, so I'm still trying to get to know a lot of people here and make connections, so that can translate to better performance on the field.
Okay. Are you a video game guy? You a Madden, a 2K, or Call of Duty guy, or no?
Yes, sir. I play some video games. I play Call of Duty, 2K.
Okay.
Kind of.
Main question is, are you giving L's or you taking L's?
Oh, definitely giving those. I don't
Okay.
lose. I don't.
What about, as recruiting is taking place more on social media apps. Tell these coaches what apps you spend the most time in that they can find you on. Are you a Twitter guy, Instagram, TikTok, what?
Oh, definitely on Twitter and Instagram. Post a lot on Instagram, kind of keep my feet up. Twitter, same with that. I always try to. I normally have Instagram more of like my daily lifestyle, and Instagram or Twitter mainly my sports. So keep on track with that. Have update all my times, weights, everything.
Okay. So, so your social media presence when it comes to football, very strong. A coach is going to be surprised at what they see in your timeline, or is it just an extension of who you are as a student athlete?
On Twitter, Instagram.
Twitter.
Oh yes, sir. They'll see whatever kind of towards sports. I mean, I always post my videos, my highlights, what I'm doing on the weekends, announcements. It's mainly all sports stuff.
Okay. Tell us, what is your some of your favorites? What's your favorite food?
My favorite food, I love shrimp tacos. I can get
Nice.
that.
Okay, that's a first I've heard from other. Okay. What's your favorite football movie?
Football movie has to be Mile American or The Woodlawn.
Nice. Okay, those are two that have not been mentioned. It's usually either been Rudy, Remember the Titans, or Blindside. So that I like that you're a little original there. And then what about music artists, music genres? Who's your favorite artist? Who do you listen to?
I love John Legend, J. Cole, Futuristic. Those are a couple of my favorites.
Okay. We know you're going into your sophomore year here at Westlake. You're a good athlete, obviously with good size. What other sports do you plan on playing over the next 3 years at Westlake besides
So
football?
I definitely got to run track. I do outside of school 7-on-7 on the Adidas national team. And I'm planning on still kind of deciding if I'm gonna do basketball this year. I did it at Taylor, but kind of deciding if I'm gonna do straight football and track or add that on there.
Okay. One thing I'll tell you is that coaches love players that can play a lot of sports at a high level. So if you have the ability and you can handle it, being a three-sport athlete is always a good thing when it comes to recruiting. Just from a former coach here. Tell me about one person. We're going to talk about your family here shortly, but tell me one person outside your family that's had a positive impact in your life.
Definitely that coach, Coach Lee. He's definitely a huge role model to me. He's kind of just like my dad. He's always there for me whenever I need him. He's there. He gives me the best advice I could ask for from a coach.
That's awesome. That's good to hear. That's what coaches should be all about. Tell us a little bit about. I call this my dream scenario. Let's say you have 4 great years in college and you find yourself in New York City at the NFL draft. Who is sitting at your table waiting for the commissioner to call your name?
Definitely gotta have my brothers because I mean,
Okay.
three have dreamed of draft day our whole lives. Then definitely my parents there, just waiting and just having the come out on the stage and for the first round of the draft, first pick.
Okay,
growing up.
I like it. I set the goals in right now. You mentioned your brothers. Tell us a little bit about your family, your mom and dad, what they do for a living. Are you the oldest? You the youngest? Tell me about the family dynamics.
So my mom, she's a work at home mom. She stays home, and my dad, he lives in Corpus Christi. He's a chiropractor. He played football until he was about 13, then he broke his neck. So that kind of ended
Ouch.
it. Yeah. So my brothers, he played college football for Trinity Valley, then in Southwestern Oklahoma State University. Got off of that, then he became a businessman for kind of moving companies. And then my other brother could have ran track in college, but decided to go to Blinn and become a mover too.
Okay. So you're the youngest of the other three?
Yes, sir.
Was having two older brothers helpful as you came up through being a student athlete or no?
Definitely. It definitely put me on the right path because I can see the struggles that they went to, especially in school, maybe them not focusing on homework or something, how bad it hurt them. So I see that now. So I got to focus on that, and it shows how big of an importance that is.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's good. That's good stuff. How and now, your dad. You said your dad broke his neck, and then he's a chiropractor. Was the his accident a driver in him becoming a chiropractor, or no? Is there a story there?
And he while he broke it, he was actually saved. He was in a pool drowning, and a guy came up and saved him. So right when he went to get chiropractic surgery, he went to a dude named Dr. Mayfield, and they had definitely had a connection because he kind of saved his life. He decided to get into it, and that's the reason he's a chiropractor.
That's awesome. That's a great story. Hey, tell us, communication wise, coaches want to understand how best to communicate with their athletes. Tell these coaches, what's your best method of communication? Are you like, hey, I still like to pick up the phone, have a conversation, or you are more on text, or you more on, on Zoom, virtual? How do you like to communicate with your teammates and coaches?
Oh, we do everything. We have Zoom meetings every day with our team. Snapchat, all my friends. Definitely on message too. I'm on Twitter all the time. I check my emails every day. So really anything.
Okay. I know you've got 3 more years of high school and then 4 years of college, but tell us, what do you want your life to look like when football is all over, whenever that is? What does it look like personally, and what does it look like professionally?
So the dream, football, once that ends in college, the dream's the NFL. But if not, I was looking into some, maybe a designer or a marketer or a businessman for a company, kind of like maybe Adidas or Nike, or if not, maybe the architecture, engineering path.
Okay, good stuff. I like it. Tell these coaches, Keaton, how would your teammates describe you as a teammate? I know it's kind of a reverse question, but what kind of a teammate are you?
So just now coming in, I tried to already try to be a leader, best leader as I can. I mean, not a bunch of players know me yet. Well, the offense does, but I'm still meeting a lot of people. So I'm still trying to be a leader, even encourage people if I don't know them. Definitely try to push my teammates to make them better.
Okay, good stuff. Coming into your sophomore year here, what did you consider your strengths as a receiver, and what were some of the things you were working on to improve your technique at receiver?
Some of my strengths is I've grown up just being around the best of the best athletes, practicing with them. So, I mean, I started receiver playing football at a very young age. So my experience level, my hands, and my route running, I focus a lot on that. I watch videos every day, how to make that better. Some weaknesses that I have, probably my height. So I gotta be better with my hands and physical than my footwork and being like a little small slot receiver. So my height sometimes, maybe when they're DB trying to get their hands on me, I got to be a lot more physical that way.
Okay, well, we've got you listed at 6'3", 180. I mean, so that's good size right there. I don't know your mom and dad. I haven't seen them yet as far as their height, but what height and weight do you think you'll be by the time you graduate from Westlake?
Probably, I'm thinking about 6'5", 210.
Okay. And are you still thinking maybe outside receiver, maybe being an H-back with some size in the weight room? And what are you thinking going forward?
Definitely outside receiver.
Okay. All right. I like it. Okay. And then do you play a role in special teams?
Yes, sir. So this year at Taylor, I was supposed to be the kickoff return man, but once I switched, I became the blocker right in front of the kickoff returner.
Okay. Good stuff. Coaches love players that love playing actively on special teams. Are you a weight room guy? Coaches love kids that love to spend time in the weight room. Are you a weight room guy?
Just over there every day. as much as we can, spending extra time when we go home. I'm one of our star receivers on our team, Jaden Greathouse. We have a program we do every 2 days. We go over to his dad's house. His dad's a trainer. We work extra time there with him.
Yeah, we've had Jaden on the show. You two are two of the top receivers in the class of 23 that are going to make a lot of noise here going forward. So he did a great job on the interview a couple months ago. Hey, tell us about, respecting authority and being dependable as a player is important as you in high school and in college. Tell these coaches about how they can depend on you to be a dependable player in their program.
I mean, for sure, every Zoom meeting, every practice, even when I'm hurt, I got to be there and be on there to make sure I'm still there and with the team, even if I'm hurt, it doesn't change anything. I have a big mentality of not being late. I try to be there at least 15 minutes early. I hate being late. It's one of my big pet peeves. I cannot be late. So yeah, I'm always just there, and you can depend on me.
Keaton, usually coaches put players into two different buckets. One bucket is players who don't practice well, but they play great in the game. And then the other bucket is players that love to practice and play great in the game. Which one are you?
Definitely. I try. So sometimes there's players that kind of want to take it easy in practice, just so they don't have to push themselves kind of hard in practice, but then go out in the games. I like to go all out in practice too, and some people might not like it. They're like, "Yeah, you chill out," just because I like to make other people I like
Right.
to better in practice. Because when you do that and not go 100%, it's just hurting not only yourself but your teammates too.
Yeah, it's a great response. And I would tell you that any player that's asked you to chill out and slow down a little bit, do the opposite and keep doing what you're doing, because that kid is not trying to help you get better and get to your reality and your dreams. So that's a great point. You talked about it earlier, but tell us, you're a film study guy. Tell us specifically, what do you study? You're looking at coverages, you're looking at matchups, personnel wise. What's your focus when you watch film?
I definitely try to watch the same play a bunch of times, watch the same game over and over. And I try to see tendencies that the DBs have, kind of some things that they lack of, some things that they're good of that I need to get better, or kind of how they play. And then definitely just watching that. I also watch myself from my own routes, even on air, just watching it over and over again to spot different things that I could work on.
Okay, good stuff. Is there a certain player at the college or NFL level that you pattern your game off of? And who is that?
Um, I would say about Adam Thielen.
Okay.
I compare to him a lot, just kind of how he runs his routes. I watch his videos all the time about how we play. I get a lot
Mhm.
of my rush releases from him, how tips from him, how he
Okay.
runs his routes. So I feel like I play a lot like him.
Okay. You usually ask the question right now about adversity, but you're kind of going through it now. I mean, every player needs to understand that injuries are a part of football, but how you handle it and how you come out on the other side is what's going to develop you. But tell us about a time in your life, maybe personally or dealing with football, where you had to overcome some type of adversity.
So definitely last year, when I was brought up to varsity as a freshman and starting on varsity as a freshman, it was kind of I didn't really feel welcome at the beginning. I feel like everybody was like, "What is this freshman doing on varsity?" But so I kind of proved myself and that I could run with the big dogs out there and prove myself. That was definitely one of the times.
Okay, that's a very good example. I mean, at the end of the day, Keaton, you know this. Doesn't matter what year you are. If you're a playmaker, you eventually will get the respect of your teammates. So it doesn't matter what year you are. That's good stuff. Hey, tell us, about recruiting real quick. I know you're just now going into your sophomore year, but how's your recruiting been? Who have you heard from? Who do you want to hear from? And what's been your recruiting experience so far?
So I've definitely recruiting. I've been playing with a lot of top people, maybe in 7-on-7. Cade has a lot of offers for 4-star. So kind of them being on my team has helped a lot with coaches seeing me. I have 0 offers. Still trying to talk to coaches. There's a couple coaches I want to hear from. I mean, I would be okay with any D2, D3 schools to kind of talk to me too, to kind of get to know people. But
Mm-hmm.
top 5 dreams, I would have a dream school at Clemson right now.
Okay.
That'd
Yep.
be cool.
Well,
So,
I love that you're open and that you're realistic. A lot of players I talk to, it's like D1 or bust, and that all sounds good, but sometimes there's more opportunities at D2 and D3, and you need to keep your options open because you never know what's going to happen over the next 3 years. So you've got a great mindset when it comes to setting realistic expectations about your recruiting. Tell us, you talked about what sports you play outside of football already. You talked about leadership, but tell us, how do you define leadership and how do you plan on leading as a new player in the Westlake program?
So I think leadership isn't just like about being one of the best people on the field. It's definitely because I mean you can be. I think there's a lot of really good leaders as backups too. Kind of how they know that they're there, so they always try to make people above them better. They're always giving people energy. They never, what I like to say, is energy drainers. They
Hmm.
don't start. Yeah, they don't try to say, "Oh, I'm a backup." Like I'm not going to try. Like they always making people above them better, even in the weight room, just pushing it, pushing it.
Okay, yeah, I like that. It's a great description. Being coachable is a big part of being a student athlete, as you know. Tell these coaches what kind of coaching style do you prefer? How do you mind a coach getting in your face and challenging you with some off-color language, or do you prefer coaches kind of coming to you, telling you what you need to do, what you need to fix, and moving on? I mean, do you have a preference?
Oh, I've had both of the examples you gave me. The coach at Westlake, he's amazing, and he has a little bit of both sides, but he definitely knows what he's talking about. I think when you're that way, they kind of get your point across. They get their point across, so it kind of helps you understand. Like, okay, I need to overemphasize what they're doing so I can focus on that and get better at that.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm mentioning now that you came from Katie Taylor and you're coming to Westlake, reigning 6A champion. What's that transition been like so far since you came over from Katie? I mean, there's obviously a lot of expectations on Westlake every year, the pressure to win and keep the winning going there. But what's it been like from your perspective coming in new to the program?
The players are just insanely welcoming. They all brought me right in every single dinner that the team has, every practice. I mean, they're all there. They just want to have the best people on the field and win. That's all they care about. So it's
Yeah.
definitely love the school.
Yeah, good. Yeah, it's one of the best schools in the state and probably the country. We're very proud of them here in Austin. Hey, finishing up here, coaches love players who have a great competitive spirit. Tell these coaches about your competition and what kind of competitor you are.
Um, Definitely very competitive. I can't lose at anything, whether it's throwing something away first or out on the field. I just hate losing. It's something. If we lose a game, can't sleep at night just thinking about something that we could have done better to beat the team. It's just something that haunts me when we lose.
Okay. Hey, last question to finish up here and let you get back to your evening. Keaton, tell these coaches and your elevator pitch. Tell them why they should recruit you over the next 3 years and what you're going to bring to their program.
I think I should be recruited because definitely a team first player. I try to make sure everybody around me gets better, and I'm definitely a playmaker on the field. I'll catch the ball whenever you need me to, uh, and I'll just do everything you need to, whether it's blocking, just getting other people open on my routes. Just definitely a team player.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, I believe that. Well, man, I'm looking forward to seeing you. I've seen you play down at Kelly Taylor. I forgot to mention earlier that I'm really good friends with Bryce Foster and Hayden Connor and those guys at Katie Taylor. And looking forward to seeing you play here as you make your transition to Westlake after you get through the injury. Good luck on your surgery. Hope you have a very fast recovery, and you'll see me on the sideline soon, okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, have a good evening.
You too, coach.